Hello there, yarn lovers, and welcome to the wrap-up of Hobbie's #No Shades of Grey challenge. It ended today, February the 23rd, 2024, and I'm using some of this wonderful yarn new to me and also some brand new collections at Hobbii, and they generously gifted it to me to use for this challenge, and I accepted. So I want to say a big, huge thank you to Hobbii for sending me all of these wonderful lines and collections that they have on offer on their website. So I have had my chance at using them. It's been a wonderful 4 weeks of my experience with these yarns, so I'm going to share my makes with you in this episode, as well as my personal experiences of the collections, and there's some tips and tricks as well to use this yarn and have your best possible experience with them that I'm going to let you in on as I talk through the works that I have for you. All of patterns and designers will be available in the description box below, so if I do miss something in this review talking about the pattern and talking about the yarn, then please do go there to find out more details. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Here I am in the dining room at home where I'm using Hobbie's Winter Glow. It is a light worsted DK and I'm using 4 of their rich and fun colors. I'm pairing it with Hobbie's Friends Kid Silk, which is a lace weight yarn, and I've also chosen another 4 decadent hues. It's a wonderful yarn and there are many colors to choose from in each of these collections. I'm using the crochet pattern called Bayka. I'll leave it down in the description box below so that if you want to go across and find out more information about the pattern or the designer, then you'll find the details there. The hook that I'm using is a 5.5mm Susan Bates metal hook, and it's working up very nicely with these 2 yarns. I'm finding that there's no drag and the stitches are just working up nicely. Let's take a look at the Winter Glow. It's a roving style yarn and it's working up really plump and all of the stitches are well defined. It's a very squishy fabric that it's created and it has a nice structure. I was quite impressed with the lightness of this. Looking at the yarn, it would seem like a heavy fabric that it's made up, but it's very, very light. And the Friends Kid Silk was held double, so it was no longer a lace weight yarn, but more compatible as a sport weight with the Winter Glow, which is a DK version. Letting these 2 yarns have sections of their own in the design was an interesting experiment. Whilst the Winter Glow had structure, the Friends Kid Silk had some flow, and there was a nice blending in between the sections using the Friends Kid Silk. When the 2 of these were together side by side, there were some interesting folding techniques that were draping in a nice origami style way. These 2 yarns were easy to use, they did not split, and I'm rating the Winter Glow 3 out of 5 for frog friendly, 5 being the friendliest to frog, and the Friends Kid Silk is a 2 out of 5 for froggy. Next up, you can see me here taking a 2-hour ferry ride, and I packed myself a project bag full of Hobbii yarn. I'm knitting with Winter Glow, which is the light worsted DK weight in the color chocolate, and I'm pairing it with Hobbie's Mohair Delight, which is a worsted weight yarn in the color mango. The pattern is called the Brioche Zigzag Cowl, and I'm using my 4.5mm Chiagoo stainless steel interchangeable knitting needles. I'm finding this is pairing very nicely with the 2 yarns. There is no drag and the stitches are just gliding across my needles. I'm loving the soft romantic quality that the Hobbii Mohair Delight offers this pattern, and it is nice to find a worsted weight mohair ready to match the Winter Glow. Combining the lightness of the Winter Glow and the Mohair Delight with the brioche stitch has made this pattern feel like it's defying gravity with its air-like quality. These 2 yarns were easy to use, did not split, and as mentioned in the previous project, the Winter Glow rated 3 out of 5 for frog friendly, and the Mohair Delight rates a 2 out of 5. Moving forward, here I am in my car, waiting for an appointment, so I grabbed the chance to work on a project using the Hobbii Cascada. Cascada is Italian for waterfall. It's a worsted acrylic cotton mesh blown yarn in the colorway Yosemite, and it is one of my favorite yarns that I received for this review and this challenge, so thank you Hobbii for sending it to me. I'm working on a crocheted pattern called the Calm Sea Scarf, and I'm learning a lot of new techniques in crochet which involve short rows. These short rows are great for a variegated yarn like Cascada, where there's a gentle running from one color to the next without abrupt sharp changes. And with the Cascada being a full plump worsted weight, these stitches are showing up full and well defined. I found a really good hook that worked well with this pattern and this yarn was my 6.5mm Susan Bates metal hook. It's the hook that has a slightly pointier end and a bamboo handle, and it helped me get through the back loop of the stitch work as well as doing the edging for the short rows. If you're interested in the pattern, I've left the link down below in the description box, and it does suggest that you do a swatch before you embark on your journey, and I would advise you not to overlook it. The yarn was a joy to work with, it did not split, and I'm rating Cascada a 4 out of 5 for being frog friendly. And lastly, here I am hanging out in the chill room, and I'm working with Hobbie's Tea Time in the colorway Mocha. It is a light roving worsted weight DK yarn, and I'm holding it together with one strand of Hobbie's Friends Kid Silk. It's a lace weight yarn in the color Olive. I'm using my 5.5mm Chiagoo stainless steel interchangeable knitting needles, and I'm following the pattern called the Colorist. It will be listed down below in the description box if you would like to learn more about where to find the pattern. While I would say that the Friends Kid Silk is a clingy yarn because of its fuzziness, the surprising find is that the Tea Time yarn is also one that is quite clingy. I did center pull from the Tea Time cake, and I noticed that in the beginning the yarn fed out in clumps which I had to untangle, and as the work progressed it was more and more easier to feed out of the cake. That being said, there were plenty of things to be happy about with this variety of yarn, like how the colors were playing out. Wonderful and always surprising to see what the next stage of the colorway would work up like. It was a real pleasure to work with. There was no splitting and it glided across my needles very nicely. I'm loving the texture that is being created using both these yarns together. While it does need a good garter border and a blocking to settle the curl, that's from the pattern and not from the yarn. The fabric is squishy and warm. I'm rating the Tea Time 3 out of 5 for frog friendly. And again, for the Friends Kid Silk, I'm going to be rating that 2 out of 5. As you can see, I'm not finished this project just yet, and I'll be featuring this and other ones that I'm still working on my regular podcast of Urban Yarn on YouTube. I want to thank Hobbii for sponsoring the yarn for this video and offering up the hashtag No Shades of Grey challenge. I'll be using the hashtag to flag these on my social media and looking to see what you've been doing on yours. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in seeing the original unbagging of the Hobbii yarn and the review that I had when I first encountered it, then please go to the description box to find the link there. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.